After years and years of talking about this, of hand wringing about how to approach it, this bill has been signed. It creates a hybrid plan for most new state and public school employees starting, I believe, in 2019, correct?
That's right.
January 1st, 2019.
18 months from now.
So tell us, why was this the right approach? Because there were all kinds of, over the last 10,
Right.
5-10 years, all kinds of proposals. Why was this the right approach? Is this just what could get done?
Well, it could get done, but it was also something that and again, I think it took into account a lot of the concerns and interests. One of the things that many people have come up to me and said, I really appreciate the fact that what this does is protects the pensions of incumbent workers and the contracts and the deals that have been made. You didn't try to change that. And it also shifts risks from the taxpayer. I mean, the Washington Post had a big editorial saying Pennsylvania did something that's really smart. Jake Corman, Senator Corman, the majority leader of the Senate, I think was right when he said, there's a big bipartisan crowd of legislators behind all of us as I signed it in the rotunda, and he said, none of these folks, or most of these folks, weren't here when the problems really started occurring, of not paying the bills and all that kind of stuff. And most of us, if any of us, none of us will be here when the real benefits of this hit in, say, 2036, when the reduction in expenditure because the what we did today will be billions of dollars. But that's what I think it's a tribute to both houses and both parties to get together and actually do so. That's why it hasn't been done in other states. I think maybe there are 3 other states that this has been done, and the Wall Street Journal liked it, the Washington Post liked it. I mean, it's something that was a good bipartisan effort. And as I said, it really showed that we in Harrisburg can actually get things done. We can get results despite the partisan divide.
So what do you say to critics that say this isn't really paying down the debt any faster? We still have a $70 billion unfunded liability in the pension system.
Yeah, it's not. Now, back in 2010, the legislature passed and the governor signed a bill that said we're not going to do what. One of the things that got us into this problem was that the state wasn't paying its bills. And that happened over a 16, 17-year period. So in 2010, they agreed, no, we're going to pay the bills. And they agreed to do that. And so this is the other part of that. Is the unfunded liability that is sort of the residue of that period of not paying the bills, has that not been dealt with here? Yeah, it hasn't been accelerated, but over the next 20 years it will be paid for because of that bill in 2010. But again, keep in mind what this does. It takes away the risk that the taxpayers have had for a low interest rate environment. It takes away the taxpayers' risk that results from a General Assembly that didn't want, this is the 2010 bill that didn't want to pay its bills. This bill that I signed on last Monday takes away the risk that returns are going to be less than they should. The economy is going to tank. None of those things are now on the backs of the taxpayer because of the bill that we signed. So the combination of those two things, it doesn't do everything, but it does a lot to eliminate the problems that got us into this hole in the first place. So no one's digging anymore, and it's a good thing that we got that done. So I applaud the General Assembly. It didn't do some things, but it between 2010 and this bill, it really does what very few, if maybe any states have done to keep us from getting into this hole again.
Let me make sure I understand exactly what you're saying, though. You're saying the 2010 legislation that was signed, that will take care of all of the unfunded liabilities that lie ahead?
But it doesn't do it
As
at
long
once.
as you pay the bills.
As long as you continue to contribute.
But that's what 2010 was about.
Yeah.
Act 120
About paying
was said, we are not going to do what prior General Assemblies did and governors, and that is, it was a bipartisan thing, that we're not going to indulge in the fiction that we can not pay our bills and not see this thing go up. If you don't pay your MasterCard bill, what happens? Your balance goes up. Well, that's what happened. In combination with that, you had two other things that jacked up the liability: low interest rate environment and a recession in 2008.
Right.
Those three things, that's not a good combination for a defined benefit pension plan. What happened with the new pension plan moving forward, it takes that risk away from the taxpayers. That was who was saddled with the burden for paying for this, and so as we move forward, that burden is now shifted away from the taxpayer. And I think that's a really important thing, which is why, again, both the Wall Street Journal and the Washington Post were very laudatory in praising Pennsylvania.
Is there any concern that that hybrid, more like a 401k style plan, is going to turn off future applicants to state jobs because they don't have that pension coming?
No, just the reverse. A lot of people coming into state government don't want to stay around for 10 years. They might want to be here for 4 years or 5 years. So the vesting period for this is 3.
Okay.
And anything they put into it, they take out. From day one, they take out. That was not the true in the old defined benefit plan. They can only take out after they were vested 10 years. They can only take out what they put in. This way, this is portability, and I think more and more employees want that. And I think more employees are looking to free themselves of the constraints that exist when their own pension plan, in the long run, is affected by these uncertainties. In a low interest rate environment, employers aren't given as generous pension plans. So this gives, I think, the ability for employees to be masters of their own destinies, and I think I believe more employees want that. And again, existing employees, the deal that was made when they took their jobs, that's maintained. So I think this is something that is good for employees moving forward and good for taxpayers.